plans for the upcoming run. Dr. Barry Onselay, a member of this group, explains the meaning behind the tradition.
This Mardi Gras, the Grand Mardi Run, is one of many that you still find in South Louisiana, in little towns and rural settings, and they are all the descendants of the notion of Mardi Gras that came across the Atlantic from Europe, in our case from France. When the settlers first came here, they came here with a sense of Mardi Gras just as they came here with a sense of Christmas or Easter or anything else in the liturgical calendar. They would have noticed on the calendar, you know, what day it was, so they would have celebrated Good Friday or Easter or Christmas or New Year's Day, and Mardi Gras was one of those things on the calendar. I've observed Mardi Gras in about 30 different versions in South Louisiana, the rural Mardi Gras, not the urban carnival. And they all have essential differences, but at the same time, as you look at them, you recognize them all as Mardi Gras. So they all have a very firm sense of identity as well, and that identity is what comes from France. The differences is what evolved here. And I think what's recognizable Mardi Gras about them is that they're all begging processions. They're gathered together to move through your community, defining it as you go through it, and asking for something and giving a performance in exchange for the gift. And not only is there solidarity in the group, but you create solidarity by the people you visit too, because we invite them all to the dance, right? Anybody who gives us something, we're all invited to the dance. And of course, the playfulness, the inversion, the turning reality inside out and upside down, just for a moment, so that it generates a sense of festivities.
For this Jennings group of gentlemen, this is more than just another holiday. This is about family, tradition, and strikes at the heart of each member. Thomas Desautels, this year's captain, is filled with emotion as he explains how this run, once fading, has become strong again.
Most love of anything, and it almost died, and we brought it back through all the other captains. And we had Wallace, we had Licos, who else, John? Avery, Edward, Terry, Francis, Bobby Louvier, and now it's me. At one time, Pete Gary was a part of this, and he had asked me not to let this die at all. So we brought it back, and I got with Wilson, I got with John, I got with the older ones, and we brought it back, what it is today. What it is today. And like I said, I'm the captain now, but it wouldn't be for everybody behind me, it wouldn't be nothing. But they the backbone of it with me. And like they said, it's a family thing, and it just, everybody loves it, but it's just a part of me.
In my family, at this point in time, there's going to be 4 generations running. My dad, which is sitting next to me here, I have a son next over there, and I'm going to have a grandson that's going to be riding, and myself. So there'll be 4 generations. This is something that we have, been doing for quite a few years. I also have 4 brothers that ride. One of them's here. I have nephews that ride, and there's so much that's instilled from him and from tradition and what it really means to us as the Cajun culture has been. We live. It's not something that just comes today. This is something that we live every day. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun, and whenever we're there together, it's a family. Not only immediate family, but his family that live across the street, their sons and their grandsons. It's a family that gets together and have a great time.
Mardi Gras, Théo, viens-tu, tout en l'entour de fond du verre. Au Mardi Gras, Théo, viens-tu, tout en l'entour de fond du verre. Je viens de l'Angleterre et mon cher, je viens de l'Angleterre, tout en l'entour de fond du verre. Au Mardi Gras, qu'apportes-tu, tout en l'entour de fond du verre. Au Mardi Gras, qu'apportes-tu, tout en l'entour de fond du verre.
When I was growing up in the music, I'd be 66 years old, so I was born in 45. By the time I actually started hearing the music, probably been about 6, 7 years old. It was primarily just the fiddle, the guitar, and the accordion.
My first fiddle I made myself. That was a masterpiece. It was made out of a cigar box, screen wire, sewing thread for your bow, and a piece of rosin off a pine tree. Otherwise, if you don't have rosin, you're not going to play. And it sounded really bad. That's all I had, too poor to buy anything. Later on, I bought one from one of them, Sears, Montgomery Ward, $9, $10, I think, in those days, and it did good. Well, later on, I got something a little bit better. Now I've got 4. And that's enough. My wife said, you can't play 4 at the same time. I said, well, no, but I can take turns. You know, we drive like that, you know. But my oldest one, made in 1813, it come out of Germany in World War II. My oldest brother-in-law went through Normandy, got wounded in the leg, and when he got into Germany, an old man gave him a violin for 2 bottles of candy and brought it back to me. And it's something else too. For me, I mean, it's a treasure. It sounds so beautiful. And I promised him, he died some time back, but I promised him I'd never sell it. However, I got 2 grandsons, and my oldest one about 13, 14, I think now. He's taking lessons, so he'll probably wind up with it. But I ain't gonna sell it, but he can have it.
And some of the songs I heard back day, in the day were actually some of the songs that's played today. A lot of things have changed in the music. You know, we have everything is done electronically now. You know, they have electronic bass, electronic fiddle, electronic guitars, electronic steel guitars. Back in the day, everything was more or less acoustic.
Old authentic Cajun songs, you don't hear a whole lot of them sometimes, because your Cajun music has, like any other music, has changed a little bit. Your country music has changed. Your Cajun music in my day was... There was no amplification, no nothing. You had a fiddle, you had a guitar, and a triangle. That was it. Now, everything is all amplified and everything else, you know, and they take a country song and make a Cajun song out of it. What I did a while ago was one. This one. And that's called travailler c'est trop dur, or in English it means working too hard.
But I remember, even as a boy, the north side of Lafayette, they had a club named, the name of the club was called Webb's Neighborhood Lounge. And I had a little bicycle. I must have been, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years old. And every Sunday afternoon they would have a Cajun band there. And this was a big deal. It's the old kind of Cajun dance hall that had all the bottle caps would use as shell and gravel on the road. to fill the potholes. And I remember they had a bouncer that would park the cars. And I'd get run off every Sunday from Webb's Neighborhood Lounge. I say every Sunday. It was probably the first 2 times I was there. From what I remember about the place, it had a little window. And he was parked the car, and I would always remember where he was. And I would go around the building to the windows or to the side door so I could hear the music. I'm thinking back in that day, I can't remember for sure, but I'm thinking guys, you know, like Lawrence Walker, Aldous Roger, and Nathan Afshar, and all those guys were playing there. I just didn't recognize, I just didn't know who they were, but I knew it was the music that I had loved or was loving at the time. And so when the bouncer would catch me, he didn't know how to speak English. He says, Arrête ici, get out of here, get out of here. And so one Sunday he caught me and he says, and he couldn't speak French, he says, how come you come here all the time like that, you know, in the real Cajun accent? And then I realized, or he didn't realize I spoke French. And when I told him because that's why he was asking me in English, he says, why you come here and have the trouble with you every Sunday? And I told him in French, parce que j'aime la musique. It's because I love the music. Then he tells me, he says, mais tu peux venir tous les samedis si tu veux, ben, you can come every Sunday if you want now. He said, I just thought you wanted to, I guess in so many words, just being kind of mischievous, and that was the only reason I was there. And so I got to, as long as Webb's Neighborhood Lounge was there, I got to hear the music.
That's an old Cajun song, authentic, that is called Tous les deux pour la même, ni un ni l'autre qui l'aura. That means 2 boys in love with the same girl, and neither one gets her. That taught him a lesson. You don't do that. Yeah.
You know, Dewey Balfour was my friend and mentor. When I finally got to meet him at the Main Street Lounge, just anyone looking at the film, you can say, well, this kid must have spent his whole life in bars, but it's not the whole truth. That's where I first started actually playing out to where other people would listen to me, as the Main Street Lounge in Basile. When I went there the first time, I thought I had died, and went to Cajun musicians heaven. There was Nathan Afshar there. There was young Steve Riley. There was Dewey Balfour. There was all the people who I thought were gods to the music was actually at a jam session, and then I started going there every Thursday after that. He used to always tell me that the music, il dit, Ray, la musique, c'est la colle qui tient la culture ensemble. The music is the glue that holds the culture together. He said, without the music, there's no way that we could hold the culture together. So he would always tell me that it was the music was the glue. And this kid's 12 years old. He plays like he's 80 years old. He plays like he's been playing for 70 years. And me being an old musician say, how great is this? You know, this is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. And one of the guys that always come to the jam, he says, avec les enfants comme ça, peut jouer la musique, notre culture va jamais mourir. It's when we see kids that young playing traditional Cajun music, our culture will never die. And of course he said it with tears in his eyes because he loved the culture so much. I tell my kids, you know, you may not want to play the music, but there's a music that's going to live on and on and on. Traditional Cajun music is going to live because you got people like me that are crazy, so much in love with the music that we're going to see that it survives.
People like Ray Landry and many others that willingly give of their time to to teach a new generation how to play Cajun music are one example of how the heritage will continue. Programs like Codafil's French Immersion are showing progress. Children need to be encouraged to speak French at home and in the community until it becomes a part of their identity. Other areas, such as living off the land by fishing, hunting, and trapping, are simply not financially feasible. So then, to what extent will the culture survive? This is a matter of debate, but the Cajun culture has developed over some 350 years, enduring unthinkable hardships. Given its history, the culture will find a way to survive.